Good morning, students. In the last class, you have studied about the different systems of classification. The five kingdom classification, which was proposed by R.H. Whittaker and is being widely accepted system of classification. Yes, and he could categorize all the living organisms into its respective five kingdoms. That is kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Mycota, kingdom Plantae and Animalia. Kingdom Monera, it includes prokaryotic organisms like bacteria. Bacteria are included in the kingdom Monera. So kingdom Monera is the only kingdom which includes prokaryotic organisms like bacteria. Rest all the other four kingdoms, Protista, Mycota, Plantae and Animalia includes eukaryotic organisms. So you will study which are the organisms which have been included in the respective kingdoms. To get a clear idea, so you will study which are the organisms being placed in these respective kingdoms. The next is kingdom Protista. Protista includes eukaryotic organisms. Yes, it includes eukaryotic unicellular organisms. Yes, kingdom Protista includes eukaryotic unicellular organism. It is the only kingdom in which we could find unicellular organisms like diatoms, euglenias, protozoans are being included. Okay, unicellular organisms. Kingdom Mycota, it includes eukaryotic multicellular achlorophyllus heterotrophic organisms. Heterotrophic organisms like fungi. Fungi are being included in the kingdom Mycota. So how can we describe about a fungi in a line? Fungi are eukaryotic. They are multicellular. Body is made up of body organization. It is multicellular. They are mode of nutrition. They are heterotrophic organisms like mushrooms. Yes, bread mold we could find where in the kingdom Mycota, that is fungi. Kingdom Plantae includes the plants. Plants are also eukaryotic. They are also multicellular. They are autotrophic. So they are autotrophic, which includes plants. Different groups of plants: algae, bryophytes, liverworts, mosses, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms in the kingdom Plantae. Plants are what type of cell they comprises of cell structure? It is eukaryotic. They are body organization. They are multicellular. Mode of nutrition. They are autotrophic. And kingdom Animae includes animals. Animals are also eukaryotic. They are also multicellular. Yes, multicellular. Heterotrophic. Heterotrophic organisms. And it includes animals. So animals also shows cell structure is, their cell is eukaryotic, multicellular, heterotrophic organisms. So here in kingdom Animae we could find invertebrates as well as vertebrates. We could find sponges, coelentrates, platyhelminthes, Aschelhelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata. Yes, as well as we could find the vertebrates, phylum Chordata, which includes Urochordata, Hemichordata, Cephalochordata, Vertebrata. Okay, all that is being studied where in kingdom Animae. Kingdom Animae includes animals. Okay, so kingdom Monera includes bacteria. Kingdom Protista includes organisms like diatoms, euglenas, unicellular organisms, protozoans. Mycota includes fungi. Plantae includes different groups of plants, and Animae includes animal. So I think you know now the 5 kingdoms. Okay, which are those 5 kingdoms and what are the types of organisms which have been included in these respective kingdoms. There are few drawbacks of 5 kingdom classification. Even though having some few drawbacks, but it is the widely accepted system of classification. Like you know that there are viruses also. Okay, so viruses have not been given any place in the 5 kingdom classification. It is not being included, okay, in the 5 kingdoms. And one more, you know, protozoans are the animals only due to the having unicellular nature they were put into the along with other unicellular organisms, that is kingdom Protista. Yes, so like these, there are few drawbacks of 5 kingdom classification. in 1994 proposed 6 kingdom classification. Proposed 6 kingdom classification, that is Archaea, Bacteria and Eukarya, whose proposed 6 kingdom classification. And here I have written only 3. It might be confusing for you all. See here, Archaebacteria he considered as one kingdom, bacteria as the another kingdom, and here in Eukarya, in this group, it includes 4 kingdoms. That is Protista, Mycota, Plantae and Animaliae. So these 4 kingdoms plus these 2, so he called it as 6 kingdom classification proposed by whose. It might be useful, it will be useful for your competitive examination like a NEET. Yes. So 6 kingdom, that is Archaea, another kingdom Bacteria, kingdom Protista, Mycota, Plantae and Animaliae. So, coming to the kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera, it includes prokaryotic organisms. It includes prokaryotic organisms, that is bacteria. The sole rulers of these kingdoms are bacteria. Okay. So the kingdom mainly includes only the units, that is prokaryotic organisms. Hence, this kingdom Monera is also known as prokaryota. It is also called as prokaryota. So bacteria are prokaryotes having prokaryotic cell. So they are called as prokaryotes. The bacteria are the most primitive group of organisms. Yes, they are mostly unicellular, microscopic organisms. Okay, so these bacteria, they are the prokaryotic organisms, mostly unicellular, and they are the most primitive and microscopic organisms. Little bit about the discovery of bacteria. Anthony von Leeuwenhoek Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, yes, first person who discovered these organisms. When he scraped his teeth, the scrapped material he observed under the microscope, he could find some microscopic, very minute organisms which were moving. They showed motility, movement. Okay, so he called them as, he did not coin the term as bacteria, but he called those organisms as animalcules. Because you know animals, they move. So he called them as animalcules. So he was the first person living who could discover the bacteria. The term bacteria was coined by Ehrenberg coined the term bacteria. So, and study of bacteria is called bacteriology. So in kingdom Monera, you could find the bacteria. Name the kingdom in which the bacteria are included. 1 mark question it can be asked, and your answer will be kingdom Monera. Which group of organisms are found in the kingdom Monera? Okay, bacteria, so prokaryotic organisms. So bacteria are the primitive group of organisms, microscopic in nature. Yes, why we call them as primitive? Because the nucleus has not been organized. Characteristic features of bacteria. Characteristic features of bacteria. Genetic material is called and found to be lying So it is an important feature of all bacteria. How is genetic material? That is either DNA or RNA or genetic material. See here in eukaryotic cells, there is a nucleus in which a genetic material is being found. But whereas in case of the prokaryotic organisms, pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. So in bacteria we could find primitive type of nucleus where genetic material is seems to be called and found to be lying where? In the cytoplasm. Why it appears like this? It seems to be present in cytoplasm because there is no covering nuclear membrane surrounding the genetic materials. There is no defined nucleus. Okay, this condition we call it as nucleoid. Nucleoid condition is found in all the bacteria. Understand? Okay, so nucleoid. What is nucleoid? The genetic material in bacteria is called and seems to be found in the cytoplasm. Bacteria are also made up of a cell wall. Cell wall is present. But this cell wall is not made up of cellulose. Is not found in cell wall. Then what is present? It is cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. What is peptidoglycan? Peptidoglycan is otherwise also known as murin, a polymer. Polymer means a chain of sugars and amino acid. A chain which has been formed by sugar and amino acid. So that polymer we call it as peptidoglycan. So what is the cell wall composition in case of the bacteria? So bacteria's cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Next characteristic feature, in case of the bacterial cell, you know that in eukaryotic cell, general plant cell or animal cell, okay, if you take cytoplasm, it is made up of, what is it made up of? Okay, outside the nucleus and inside the cytoplasm, there are cell organelles found, okay, membrane bound structures. Okay, they are called as cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, they are present. So those membrane bound organelles are being absent. Membrane bound organelles are absent. So membrane bound organelles are absent. Sexual reproduction is absent. How do these bacteria reproduce? It is through only a sexual method. The sexual method of reproduction, okay, is absent. In case of bacteria, we could not distinguish. There is no sexual dimorphism, okay, as a male or a female. Okay, so sexual reproduction is absent. So these are the important characteristic features, general characteristic features found in different groups of the bacteria. That is, genetic material is not being organized in a form of a nucleus, within a nucleus. It is coiled and found to be lying in the cytoplasm. Cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. The cell organelles are being membrane bound organelles are absent in the cytoplasm, and sexual reproduction is absent. See, here you have studied in the last chapter, Living World, taxonomic hierarchy. Okay, when we go in descending order from highest to the lowest, first is kingdom, next comes phylum or division. Kingdom Monera is divided into two divisions. It is divided into two divisions. Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So, kingdom Monera is being further classified. Now we are studying the classification. Okay. Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So now we will study regarding Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So first, yes, I would like to explain about Archaebacteria. Archaebacteria are the most primitive group of bacteria. Among bacteria itself, bacteria, what we have told, they are the primitive organisms. Among bacteria, the Archaebacteria are the most primitive group of bacteria. Most primitive group of bacteria. Found in hostile conditions. Where are they found? Hostile conditions. What is meant by hostile? Extreme harsh. Okay, not favorable. Okay. Fertile means favorable. Hostile means unfavorable. Extreme harsh condition where living organisms cannot live. Okay, like it might be anaerobic condition, or it might be extreme high temperature. Temperature might exceed more than 100 or 100 degrees. More than 100 degrees. Okay, or high salt concentration or a low pH. In such extreme harsh conditions, we could find these Archaebacteria are found living. Archaebacteria are the most primitive group of the bacteria. These Archaebacteria further classified into three groups. Methanogens, halophiles, and thermoacidophiles. Further, Archaebacteria are being classified based on where are these Archaebacteria found living. Methanogens, halophiles, and thermoacidophiles. Methanogens are the group of Archaebacteria which are found living in marshy area, waterlogged regions like a bog, marshy areas, as well as even they are found living in the gut, alimentary canal, intestine, gut of ruminants like cattle, buffaloes, cows. They are called as, those group of animals are called as ruminants. Cow, yes, cattle, buffaloes. In the cattle also we could find. So these are the methanogens are the group of Archaebacteria which are found in marshy areas, gut of ruminants. Yes, they are the anaerobes. And we could find they are involved in they produce methane. Why cow dung is involved in producing of methane gas or gobar gas, you know? Because of the presence of these organisms, they produce out methane. So, the Archaebacteria which are found in marshy area, yes, so they are called as methanogens. Why as methanogens? Because they produce out methane. Yes, like marshy areas, bogs, swamps, as well as the gut of the alimentary canal of the cattle, buffaloes, we could find these methanogens. Example, methanococcus, yes, methanococcus, methanobacterium. Methanococcus and methanobacterium are the examples of methanogens. The second group, halophiles. Halo, you might have studied, you studied in the chemistry. Halo related to the salt, and phile means attraction, loving. So these are the group of Archaebacteria which are found living in an areas where there is high salt intensity, okay, high salinity. They are found in the regions, areas where there is high salinity. As well as not only that, the light intensity is also high. such a high salt areas where there is high salt concentration? Because the salt concentration present within the cell, intracellular salt concentration is equally high as that of surrounding environment. Because of this feature, it enables halophiles to survive in that condition. So in a region where there is high salinity. Yes, intracellular salt concentration is equally high as that of surrounding environment. Examples: Halococcus, Halobacterium are the examples of halophiles. And the third group, it is thermoacidophiles. Thermoacidophiles. Thermo related to temperature, acido related to the acid concentration, philes means the attraction. So thermoacidophiles are the group of Archaebacteria which are found where temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, where there is high temperature more than 80 to 100 degrees. Okay, as well as and low pH. You know that pH below 7 is acidic, above 7 is basic and 7 is neutral. So acidic pH, it is low pH. Okay. So at very low pH, acidic pH also they can survive. Okay. So the group of bacteria, so which are found living in the area where temperature is 100, more than 100, like thermal springs. Okay. So deep sea hydrothermal vents areas, thermal springs, in thermal springs, hydrothermal vents, hot sulfur springs. So in such regions they are found thermoacidophiles. Okay. These Archaebacteria are found living only where there should be high temperature, as well as if the pH is low, they are being found, or if temperature is high, so they are being present. Okay. So these methanogens, they are found in marshy areas, halophiles where there is high salinity, and thermoacidophiles where there is high temperature as well as low pH, acidic pH should be present. Examples: for thermoacidophiles: Sulfolobus thermoproteus thermoplasm. So these Archaebacteria are the group of bacteria which are the most primitive and have been evolved in the conditions where there is extreme hostile, unfavorable, extreme harsh conditions. Okay, such group of bacteria, they are the Archaebacteria. When Archaebacteria are found in marshy area, in the gut of cattle, they are the methanogens because they produce methane. So, methanogens. Halophiles, when the bacteria are found in areas where there is high salt concentration, so they are halophiles. When Archaebacteria are found in the area where there is high temperature, or it might be low pH or acidic pH, so then they are called as thermoacidophiles. So you have studied the kingdom Monera is being divided into two divisions, Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. Okay. So here in this class you have studied about Archaebacteria. In the next class you will study about Eubacteria. Thank you.